Okay, start streaming. And it's green. And we should be live right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Everyday Dad live stream. We have a whole bunch of new stuff we're trying out today. So let's just, let's just start doing it. You've got me here and you, hold on now. It's all, okay, you've got me and the Everyday Wife. Over to you, Everyday Wife.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, so what we're going to do today, we're going to try out something completely new. We're going to edit a video live. Everybody keeps asking me, hey, Everyday Dad, how do you edit your videos? How do you edit your videos? So we're just going to go out and we're going to edit a video right now. I have no idea how this is going to work out. So if you do want to, if you have a question or something for the channel, if you're new to our live streams, just shoot it over to @WonderWife. She will continue to monitor the comments because I will have no visibility on the comments for right now. Let's check it. Let's see if we can get it working. So, nope, that's it. Okay, there we go. We are on the desktop. So we're going to go through the entirety of my workflow. So let's put in the SD card, which is exciting. Let's pop open Final Cut Pro. I'm pretty excited. I hope everybody's having a great day today. How are you doing today, Everyday Wife?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. It's a beautiful day in Georgia. It was like in the 80s or almost 80s.
Thomas Gertis said he was just getting done shoveling snow.
Oh.
Sounds gross. I mean, we did have like 80-degree weather today.
No way. No way. Just, it's crazy though to be so warm in February.
It is pretty nuts.
I can only imagine how this summer is going to roast.
So first up, when you're editing a video, this is kind of a little bit different than my normal workflow. My normal workflow, you can see right here, I've got my solid state drive, and that's what I generally will edit off of, but we're going to try something a little bit. We're going to do it a little differently today because I don't want to screw everything up, and it's usually faster to render if you do it straight on the if you do it straight from the hard drive. So here we go. We're doing the unboxing video for reviewing the cheapest next week, which is actually pretty exciting. We'll talk about that a little more in a little bit, but since everybody kind of already sees it, I guess we're going to do it from there. So first up, you just take your little thing, you put it down. We're using Final Cut Pro X, but all right, file, new, project, live stream. Okay, so we will start the editing process. Now, the way that I do it is I like to, so we filmed the unboxing. I try to go through it first just to see how all the lighting looks, how everything works. Oh, hey, there's my camera. And then once we kind of see the feel of it, I then look through my audio library. Now, people ask me all the time, where do I get my music? I actually pay for a service called Epidemic Sound. They have a whole bunch of different kind of music on there, and I really like what they do. I think it's like $10 a month for a certain, so it's a difference of certain subscriber levels is how much you pay. So let's find a good beat. What do we got? I really like all that Everyday Wife, what were you calling it? That not ragtime, but like the jazzy, like the punk jazzy stuff that I've been doing. There we go. We'll do Ain't No Thing But to Swing. So the way you've probably noticed, the way I've been doing my unboxings is I like doing the unboxings to music now because the Everyday Wife has told me how boring unboxings can normally be. True or false?
True. For
True.
me, they're boring.
So I'm trying to spice them up a little bit, and I used some music to do that. So first up, what we'll do is, the way I do it is I try to find like the intro of the music. Okay, so now we're bored. That was 7 seconds. You never want to let anything go too long or it bores everybody to death. So 7 seconds is a pretty good time. So let's go to where it starts changing a little bit. Okay, so right about there. So let's cut that. Whoa, don't cut over there. So this could take longer than normal because we are asking an awful lot of processing power out of my tiny little 13-inch MacBook Pro from like 3 years ago. We're editing 4K video, live streaming, and doing music at the same time, so it could be a little bit different. So once you get up here, the key to using music is you want to make sure you're cutting to your beat. So the way I do it is, and again, a lot of this is going to be on Final Cut Pro. I don't know how the rest of it works, but you want to mark it to the beat. So on Final Cut Pro X, you hit M. So so on the beat, I'm hitting M to mark it. And this is already not working well because I can already see it's kind of... So we'll do this for about 30 to 60 seconds because I only like my unboxings to last about that long. And then you just can cut it to that. But if you see my marks, they're definitely not in any kind of beat. So we'll go from there. But yeah, so for reviewing this... So for reviewing the cheapest this week, we have got the Sony XA2. You can probably see that from the box right here. So we'll start there. We'll cut, bring it up. Oh, when I'm doing cutting, I'm hitting Command B. That is the shortcut in actually, you know what? I just kind of like it to start right there. Something that I like doing is I like bringing it up and then down because it's kind of like more dynamic. The more dynamic you can make your shots, the better. So you cut it right about when it gets in focus right there. Something you're going to have to watch for on this music is if you delete the video that it belongs to, it will also get deleted. You can probably ask me once I check out the chat again, how often do I delete my music? The answer is all the time. So I've been chatting now for like 5 minutes. What do we got over there, Everyday Wife?
I'm just checking in with everybody in the comments and reading them over, seeing how everybody's doing.
Anything big going on?
Mark Reed says, don't edit the live stream live. It could result in a trip to the ER.
Don't edit the live stream live. I'll try not to. Okay, so we got that coming down. I'm doing some new lighting this time. You may have noticed that the lighting's a little different. Yeah, that's way boring. Look how slow that's going. Let's speed that up. So Command B, Command B. Bring that in. We'll speed that up by 2 times. Let's see what 2 times looks like. Oh, and then that moved over. So I'm definitely not a professional editor. This is just how I like to edit my unboxing videos. Yeah, see, even that's still too slow. Still too slow. So fast. I'm giving it all I've got, Captain.
Oh,
that was a
nerd joke?
That was a little bit of a nerd joke.
What?
What's that from?
Like Pirates of the Caribbean?
What? Hold on. What is
it? What is it? Is it SpongeBob?
What? SpongeBob?
It's a pirate.
Over to you. It's a Star Trek joke. It's a Star Trek joke. It's a Star Trek joke.
I think I've seen one of those.
That's just you've seen 2 of them.
2?
With me. I know you've seen 2 of them.
I fell asleep.
Okay, back to the work. Okay, well, hold on. Since I got the chat here, Bill Utah. Yeah, we're doing some since we're editing a video live today. B Hendo 15. See, this is what I do so you lay your music track down, as you'll see here in a second, and when you mark it, it lets you edit to that beat. So you just do it at the beat, and then you can cut the clip to that. And we'll do a little more here in just a second. So let's head back to it. How's the connection? Let everybody let us know how the connection's going when I'm editing, because if it gets too bad, maybe we'll save this for another day. Because I'm asking an awful lot of my internet connection and my computer right now trying this out. Okay, so the box is down. So I try to edit when something's happening. So we may actually have to cut this music down a bit too, because I don't want to just have the music there for no reason. One of the things that I do like about Final Cut Pro is, I know a lot of people complain about it, but I like the magnetic timeline. You can turn it on and off. Magnetic timeline is this little thing over here. So what that means is if I pull this clip away and then bring it back, it snaps into place. Or if I pull out this music and then line it up over here, it will snap into place right like that. Without that, it can push something over, it can move it, which is kind of a pain, but it's nice when it's working. So Okay, so to the beat, we got the cut. You gotta think of every shot, every scene of what's like. I don't know if you call it the hero shot. I consider like what's the important piece that's happening. So right in this section, we've got the box. We're holding the box. Now we're cutting the box. Cutting the box is the most important part. So let's cut straight to that, where we cut into the box.
A lot of people are saying, babe, that YouTube keeps crashing and it's lagging really bad.
Is it?
Yeah. Is it because you're editing?
It might. Well, it might be a little bit of that because we're asking for an awful lot. We're asking for an awful lot out of that. We'll try 5 more minutes and we'll see how that goes. Keep me, everyday wife, keep me up to date on. I'm gonna rely on the viewers because it looks fine to me. Okay. So yeah, so I like cutting like every second or so. So you'll see it. We're doing it to the beat. Dun, 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 dun. Well, hold on, back over here. Dun, dun, hey, somebody asked what MacBook is that? What MacBook is that? It's a MacBook Pro 13 from 2015, which means it is not really suited for editing 4K video, but you know sometimes you got to do with what you got. Okay, so we put that. We take chunks out. Editing is more about what you take out. So you want to take out as much as you can, because you want it to flow well. So you cut, but then remember when you're cutting, you also got to leave some stuff in. So that's one of the things that I've had to learn is, yeah, I want to take a whole bunch of stuff out, but I also want to make sure that, like, there we go. So we took that off. Now we will come back over to, there's the Everyday Dad's hand. Okay. Cut again while making sure you've kept that little spot, because the important part of this is taking the box off. So the important part of this next clip will be pulling the phone out of the box. So there it is right there. And again, you want to, like I said, you want to hold together. And just when you're editing to music, something that I like to do is I'll watch it 7 or 8 times as we're going through just to make sure everything flows well. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. That's pretty nice. Okay, so now we've got the phone out, so let's make sure we cut and leave that in. Now let's cut over, where were we at? So we've got it in hand. Let's cut that part out. How's it going, Everyday Wife?
Good.
But I mean, is anybody complaining about the?
No, I think there was an issue with something in the chat, so it got taken out of chat. So I think is it better, everybody? I think. Okay. I think it's better.
Well. Okay, that's too that stayed on too long there. So let's cut that out. And you'll get this whole like thing of 10 or 12 clips right there. And it gets messy. That's why you want to make sure you take care of the music first. You do all the marking first. Because after you get all the marking done, do we already have a shot of we got a shot of the box there, so let's get to the shot of the box opening. If you don't do the music first, then everything will just turn into a big mess. So you want to make sure you do all the marking like I showed you at first. That way you can keep going as it's going. Okay, so let's cut out. Let's just get straight to the box opening. You'll see me click away a lot. That white bar is part of the magnetic timeline, and it is kind of a pain when it just hangs out there. Okay, so we've got the box open, and we got to pull out the books because the books are the most important part. Am I right?
Oh, yep.
There's supposed to be a little bit of a joke there, a little bit of a ha-ha moment. Okay, no, don't do that. Control Z, or I'm sorry. If you're using MacBook, Command Z is your friend. That is the fix your problem thing. Okay, we got the books. Okay, let's cut this boring parts out, and just when we start shuffling them, that's the funny part. I like to do the funny part of shuffling. It's kind of like, hey, I'm not going to read these, but okay, so cut that out, and then let's see how the last little bit's flowing.
B Hendo wants to know what camera you use to film this.
I used a Panasonic Lumix G9 with the Lumix, not the Leica, not the nice expensive lens, but the Lumix 12-60. And I filmed it with some aperture LED lights. That's what you're seeing right there. So this may look a little more orange than normal. It's because I have the aperture LED lights set to aperture. I have the LED lights set to not, I think it's tungsten, whatever the orange one is. The orange filter. I have it set to the orange filter so I can white balance it to the orange filter. And then that means daylight looks like moonlight or blue. So if you saw any of my videos or pictures recently and you're like, wow, where did all that blue come from? That's actually from these orange lights. When you daylight balance your if you white balance your camera to incandescent, that's it, to incandescent light, then normal daylight, 56, I believe it's 5600 Kelvin, which is a fancy term for light color. If you white balance it for orange, regular light looks blue, which I think is a really cool effect. That's not something I learned up myself. I actually found that out from, I believe his name is Caleb Pike over at DSLR Video Shooters. He has a lot of guides on lighting that lighting's really something that I want to get better at this year, because I feel like lighting will make or break your video. And so even just today for some of my photography, if you've been following me on Instagram, you'll see that my photography, I'm really trying hard to get it to I'm trying to get my photography like way better, like my product photography. So I actually just got my first ever speed light today, and I'm gonna try doing some more product shots that way. I actually got a few really nice shots of this camera today. So I'm going to start releasing series of three pictures for Instagram, because I've kind of had this weird thing about Instagram where Instagram has been this I've been treating it like a second Twitter, and I don't think Instagram is a second Twitter. It's something where you can tell a story through pictures. And if I'm going to be a channel that likes tech and, checking out tech, I'd like to start showing pictures of the tech I'm checking out instead of just like random stuff. So I do like the random stuff, so I'm not saying that we won't have just fun random stuff on there anymore, because we will, because that's kind of what the channel is, just kind of a fun tech learning together channel. Like all of this stuff is, a year ago I had no idea what any of the words that I just said. I probably could have told that they were words inside of the English language, but I couldn't have told you what any of them mean. And even now I'm still trying to figure it out. So as you see, we're just continuing to cut to the beat. You can see the marks we've got on the bottom. The magnetic timeline, if you see right there, it is also clipping onto the marks. So it's all just about hold on. So if you want to think about an unboxing or a video that you're trying to cut to a beat, you just want to take as much out as you can, because I like stuff that moves. I like it when it moves fast. So each of these clips are some of them might be a second long, and that's the longest of them. And I'll do a second when I want to show something physically happening. So maybe I don't like how bright that is right there, but so that's a good long one. And that will end up being a 3-second clip. You want your clips to be as fast as possible, and that's a YouTube thing. That's not a filmmaking thing. So don't take this advice as filmmaking advice, because filmmaking, you're trying to tell a different kind of story. Whereas on YouTube, you only have a very short period of time to capture somebody's attention and then keep it, and hopefully maintain it for however long your videos are. You can see I'm struggling to find focus right here because it's so small, and trying to film this stuff one-handed is a pain. But when you're making a YouTube video, what you're really trying to do, like I said, is you're trying to capture somebody's attention, because in the first 5 seconds are the most important. I lose an awful lot of I lose an awful lot of viewers in the first 5 seconds. So getting your hook right, getting people to watch, and then getting them to stay. I find easy. Well, not easy. But the hook's the hard part. And if you just have long, unedited clips, people's brains just get bored. I mean, it's... You want to... So when you it's kind of hard editing and talking at the same time. But when you cut, the brain has to reorganize itself to that, and then it keeps people more engaged on it. See, I like, especially for unboxing stuff, I like to cut as often as possible to the beat. Okay, so this is a jumbled mess. This is not actually going to be the final clip that goes into reviewing the cheapest because it's a mess. But this is kind of, we'll watch it real quick so you can kind of see like my thought philosophy on editing a video. And so this would just be a clip inside of a whole Everyday Dad episode, and some things that I would do on the way out would be a transition. Now, these M transition zooms are something that I purchased in a pack from a company called M Transition, M something. It's up here. It's these guys. M Installer something. But yeah, so you just take these transitions, which is killing the computer right now. Pop them over here. It's not going to work as well because there's no clip on the other side, but let's just watch it real quick and see how it goes. So yeah, and that some other things that I would do is I would have the music play out so you can kind of tell that the clip's ending. If I could grab it down there. When it changed, yep, there we go. So you can do things like have the music. There's a lot of manual things that you can do to it when you understand keyframes. I don't understand keyframes, so we haven't done that. But so there you go. That's a quick 20-minute, about 20 minutes, right? Everyday Wife?
Yep. About
20-minute tutorial on how I edit my YouTube videos. So let's head back to scene. Back to me. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully that is not currently rendering. But yeah, so that's, everybody's been asking me to explain my process. That's my process. Video editing is kind of like anybody can edit videos. Video editing in its most basic is, hey, here's this video I took. Let's yank all the unimportant stuff out of it. Or let's yank stuff out of it and combine it with other things to make it tell the story or get across the point that I want to get across. And so it's different for different people. Everybody has their own style, their own editing technique. That's why I try not to make a video about editing, because it's so personal to each person. It's so personal to each person that it's kind of it's hard to explain because it's, you know, it's different for everybody. Wow, we definitely scared everybody off with that editing. So thank you if you're still hanging around. That's good though.
We have some questions.
That's good though. What questions? What questions do we have?
Let's see. Jonathan Maxwell wants to know, for budget-minded people, how does Final Cut Pro compare to iMovie, Adobe Premiere, or other programs?
iMovie, I really like iMovie. If you have access to iMovie, it's the exact same as Final Cut Pro. There's just some functions that you can't do. You can't have plugins for it. You can't have there's plugins. I'm sure there's other functions inside of it, but I started off with iMovie, and going from iMovie to Final Cut Pro is really easy because they work almost the exact same. And if I were to still only have iMovie, I'd be totally fine with it because it's a great piece of software. The other free ones I've used iMovie, or I used Windows Movie Maker. I don't even know if they still do Windows Movie Maker. I used that. It wasn't very good. I didn't like it. I mean, it's functional. You can cut and then put things together. I tried Adobe Premiere Elements for a while. Didn't really like that one either because for some reason, just me and Adobe just don't get along. Like even trying to do Photoshop or Lightroom to edit my photos, we just bang heads. Oh yeah, Bill Utah got the cheap stuff. Got the cheap stuff today. We don't got Mavic Air videos blown up every day anymore. We gotta pare back a little bit.
It actually looked like a beer from here, and I what?
Oh no, it is Diet Sam's Cola. You know, we lost our sponsorship with Coke Cherry Zero.
Stop it.
We did. It's for later.
All right, you had a couple requests for studio tours, and Ace asked about your overhead rig for when you were filming and showing the editing.
Oh, studio tour?
Yeah, maybe you can plan that for another time.
Yeah, you don't want to do it right now. This place is a mess. Yeah. Sure, someday we can do a studio tour. What was the other question? Oh, the overhead rig. It's just a tripod that I've set up really high, and my Lumix G9 facing down. You could also do the same thing with like a cell phone. If you got like a cell phone clamp to like a cell phone clamp with a tripod mount on it, you could do something like get a microphone stand. These microphone stands are like $10, and you can get an adapter for tripod mount to tripod mount to microphone stand, and you could even set your cell phone up on an overhead shot and do it that way. That'd be a very budget-friendly way to do it. Any other questions?
Let me see. People are asking, where'd you get your background music? Sean wants to know.
Oh, I pay a company called Epidemic Sound, and that's who I do my music through. YouTube also has a huge library. I think YouTube's library also just added like 1,000 songs very recently, songs and sound effects, and you can use those all royalty free. So there's a lot of music out there, because if you just take somebody's music, yeah, they'll probably copyright claim it, or you'll get in trouble with it. Tristan, I'm doing great today. How are you doing today? We
had a little drama in the chat, so shout out to Mark Reed. Thank you for catching that.
What's up?
Somebody posted some like character that crashes Max, and so I don't know if that's why you lost some viewers, but everybody was crashing out.
That's not very nice of whoever that was.
So I don't know. So I blocked him out of the chat so that it couldn't happen again, deleted all their messages so it wouldn't affect them. So thank you, Mark Reed.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark Reed. Bill Utah! Another neat thing about watching using my phone, Super Chat works. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. For some reason, I thought Super Chats only worked on computers. When I've sent them to creators, I've only ever seen them on it. Maybe I'll have to check my phone to see if I can do it on phones now. That's awesome. Thanks, Bill Utah. So thanks, Bill, for pointing that out, for bringing that to my attention. I forgot to mention Super Chats earlier. If you send us a Super Chat of $6 or more, we've got magnets and postcards that I always forget to grab. Nope, whoop. You can get a postcard and a magnet, of the Everyday Dad that we'll send over to you. So, $6 Super Chat or more for that. And Bill Utah, send us your address. We'll send you another one. Or we didn't send you a magnet yet. We still owe you a magnet, so we'll definitely send one of those out. That's right. Are there going to be more videos about the Osmo Mobile 2? Yes. Because, so the whole reason, if you remember when I was talking about back at CES, there's a lot of stuff I was really excited about. The Osmo Mobile 2 was one of them. But even the Osmo Mobile 2, with the iPhone, I've had it work pretty well, and I like the new walk mode. It takes a lot of the warping out of it, but there's still some of it when you're running. So, as you just saw the unboxing of, I got a new cell phone, which is the Sony XA2, which was also something that was announced at CES, and it is a budget cell phone, but it's, I think it was $340, but it's got a 4K camera. It's got a 24 megapixel camera. And it's a Sony sensor, so I'm really excited to give this a shot with the Osmo. So I think over the next week or two, I'll be doing an iPhone versus Android iPhone versus Android gimbal comparison, and then I've still got the Snopa M1 that I want to compare to the Osmo mobiles, because it's a very unique gimbal, and I mean it's great, but it's different. I want to try it out. A lot of people have been asking about the audio or charging of the iPhone using the Osmo Mobile 2. We'll probably talk about that a little bit too. There's just all sorts of stuff that I'm excited about. Get out the house, go fish. It has 32 gigabytes of internal storage, but it takes SD cards. And thank you to a company, it has dun 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 a headphone mount. A headphone jack. I am so irritated that companies keep taking the headphone jacks away. Like, stop, like, just leave me my headphone jack. Like, so I haven't had a chance to play around with this too much today. The Everyday Wife was out a lot today, so there was not a lot of filming that happened. But I'm very excited to start messing around with this, because so my philosophy on point and shoot cameras is cell phones killed the low end point and shoot market. They really did. And so I treat this is going to be more like a pocket computer / backup camera for me, and less as a cell phone. I don't even have this thing activated right now, and I don't even know that I will get it activated. It's just there to be a camera for my gimbal, or if I need another camera, because I currently use action cameras as my backups. You saw it if you watched my video about the Mavic Air yesterday. I still use a GoPro or my Sony camera to get other angles. I like using them because they're small, but I hate the fisheye. I cannot tolerate the fisheye distortion. So this will end up being my new backup camera to my second backup camera. And then maybe someday we'll get a nicer camera, because something I'd like to do is get the Everyday Wife a nicer live stream setup over there. And that would take a real camera instead of that webcam, and we'll see. It's one of our Patreon goals. Speaking of which...
Hey, AC Visanu has a question.
Yeah, what's up, AC? What's it?
A good solution for better audio quality on Osmo 2? It's a pain in the butt to hook up an iPhone.
Oh, so somebody sent me a... you could get a Bluetooth microphone to do it. One thing that you could use, I don't have them up here, are Apple AirPods, because they'll connect and you can use the microphone on them to transmit to that. Honestly, there's not a lot of really good solutions unless you could get some kind of counterweight. So hold on one second. So when you're looking at the gimbal, right? So when you're looking at the gimbal, the problem people are having is that, so here, we'll just mount it up and I'll show you the problems people are having with the iPhone. So as you have it hooked up, the problem is that the way that it mounts into this, it covers up, the way the gimbal fits in there, it covers up the lightning jack. So how are you going to get audio if you can't plug in anything? Which is kind of a bummer, because, hey, guess what? There's no headphone jack. And that's kind of where all that stuff happens. But you could have it, so if you look, I've got it all the way out right now. And then if I put the phone just up a little bit, does it balance? Not very well. So you can move it in a little bit. Now it's kind of balanced, but that doesn't give you a whole lot of space right there to work with. So if you could get it out a little bit and then put a counterweight, like a little counterweight over here, and balance it out, I think you'd be able to get a pretty decent audio setup. And that's just one of the problems with using it's not a DJI Osmo problem, it's a Zhun Smooth Q problem. The Zhun Smooth Q is the same way. The Osmo Mobile 1's the same way. The Feiyutech SPG is the same way. All of the cell phone gimbals that look like this all have that problem. That's one of the things that I like about the Snopa M1. And it's in the other room right now where I'd show you. The Snopa M1 grasps your phone like right here, so it doesn't cover any of the ports. So you should be able to still get audio or charge it while it's in the gimbal. So
does the Sony fit in the Osmo too?
It does. That was the first thing I did. So one of the things when you start making like YouTube videos is you can't just ever open something and just start enjoying it. You have to like make a production out of everything, like unboxing it. So Holy cow, Barry Husing. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Oh, Barry.
Thank you. You kind of shocked me right there. Not sure why I could not send you a Patreon, so consider this your Patreon. Well, Barry, thank you very much. We really, really appreciate that.
Wow. I mean, it came up like berry colored and everything.
Yeah, it's red. Like, it shocked me at first. Because, like, the red is not a color you normally see. But thanks again very much,
wow,
Barry.
Thank you, yes.
But, yeah, so hold on. Let's turn it on.
Everybody's saying that's the new camera for the everyday wife. And get that Wonder Woman cam.
I know I need to get her better.
Everybody.
I do need to get her a better camera, and that's on my next list of things to purchase for the channel. Like I said, we just got a speed light today. And that should take care of all the my photo stuff. And there we go. But see, fits in really well. Ooh, what was that? I didn't like that. There we go. Oh, okay. That works well enough. I'm excited to give it a shot. That should be really awesome. Barry, you totally it's called if you've ever heard of an OODA loop, it's like your brain's process of like, it's observe, orient, decide, act, and you got in my OODA loop right there.
I never heard of that before. OODA loop.
Yeah.
So it's an acronym?
Yes.
What did you say it was for?
It's observe, orient, it's either detect or decide and then act.
Oh.
It's been a moment since I've actually had to spell it out. But Liam Bryant, that is the XA2. It just released today. Or what's today? Saturday. It released yesterday. And I went to Best Buy because the website said Best Buy had it. And then they didn't have it. They didn't have it, so I had to order it overnight on Amazon. And thankfully, when I ordered it overnight on Amazon, it actually got here overnight.
Yay, Amazon!
Hooray! Not like DJI and UPS that we had.
Wow.
Sean, ID Studios. I totally agree. The Lumix G7 is something that would be excellent for the everyday wife. I love Lumix cameras. Obviously, I'm using one right now, but I'm thinking about getting a point and shoot to just. So I want to get her own camera, but I also need it to be like, I need things to have more than one function. So like the main camera is my photography camera, it's my video camera, it's the live stream camera. So if I get her a camera, I don't want it to just be like another one of these cameras. So I'm thinking about doing like an RX100 or probably just an RX100. I think you can get really good deals on those, like open box from Amazon Warehouse Deals, which is where I get all of my stuff basically. So that's probably what I will do for that. Because she keeps asking me to use her cell phone, but I don't think you can use the cell phone because she'd have to set up her own live stream, and it would be a big hassle.
And it would be in competition with yours.
And it would be in competition with mine, and she would win because nobody would watch mine if hers was on. So that's what we got with that. What do we got? Oh, so something I was going to talk about. Before. So Patreon. If you would like Barry just mentioned, we do have a Patreon page. I don't think I have it up right now, but it's in the description below. And so we're having a new segment every Saturday. We're going to talk about our newest patrons to the channel, and we have 3 new patrons this week that I'd like to say thanks to. So Patreon, if you don't know what Patreon is, it's a website that you can go to that you can, support the channel. You can also do super chats like our good friend Barry and Bill Utah and everybody else that gives us these super generous super chats. Lots of supers. But so 3 new patrons this week. Thanks to each and every one of you. Wayne Dawson, I saw you in the channel. Wayne Dawson, there you go. I see you right there. So Wayne Dawson, very brand new patron. Curran Charles, if you're here, thank you so much. And I apologize. I'm sure I butchered your name in the video this week. If you're here, I apologize. Victor Orhan Sarios. I hope that's how you say your name. But those are the 3 new patrons we've got this week. If you'd like to get featured on, brand new patrons every Saturday for the live stream, go ahead and head over to Patreon and, anything you can. It doesn't have to be an exorbitant amount. Whatever you can do. $1 is the smallest, and $1 is awesome. And then there are some different perk levels that you can. Different perk levels that like I've said before, I'm not going to gate any of the content. The Everyday Dad's for everybody. But if you want like more access to me, nope, hide. If you want more access to like, because as the channel gets bigger, it's getting harder and harder to respond to everybody, and that's really what being a patron will do. Okay, now I'm exhausted and I need some soda. Over to you, Everyday Wife. You haven't been talking enough.
I had a question from Liam. He wants to know, what is my favorite technology that you own? And I'm going to say it is your camera, because it's portable. You don't have to fly it, and you've taken some really great pictures with it of our family. So I like that the best. And it makes you happy when you get new lenses. So the camera, the Panasonic Lumix G9.
Yep.
Yay! I got it. All right. I can remember if it was the 7 at first. I was a little nervous, so I went with the 9.
Well, I used to have the 7.
Okay, so I thought it was familiar. Okay, good. So yes, that is my favorite. So.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Back over to
Go to
me.
you.
Consider turning down video settings. We just got a word that our encoder's overloaded, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Squee Dragon, when you click to see some epic video editing and realize you missed it, well, don't worry. You can watch the replay when we're done here, and you'll see it's 20 minutes solid of video editing at the beginning. You know, the best way to spend your weekend is editing videos. It's the holiday weekend. And the nice thing about holiday weekends is it gives me more time to edit and more time to film. I don't have to try to cram in 3 videos in one day. It gives me a few days to do it, so I'm pretty excited about it. And yeah, cameras. So one of the things that I've been enjoying about the YouTube channel, but part of the reason that I even still do the YouTube channel is there's something that fascinates me about making videos or taking photos and being able to, I don't know about if it's telling a story, but I just love the thing about it. It's really great. RGMG, we were actually going to have her fly a drone and upload that as the Valentine's Day video, but it has been raining, and I don't just mean like lightly raining. It has been storming here for like a week, so there's been no chance for me to do that, and she still will. She still will, I promise. I promise. Like a Dad, welcome. Be safe on your way home. Definitely be safe. Westerville, DDA, Ohio. Westerville strong. The Everyday Wife.
Yeah, Westerville's.
We didn't live there, but we didn't live there. The Everyday Wife worked there for a while.
Yeah, I love
She worked there for a
Westerville.
while.
It's beautiful.
Bill, Utah, I have to work both Sunday and Monday. Somebody's got to work for the rest of us slackers. Thanks, Bill.
Oh man. Sorry, Bill.
Sean Ided Studios. Yeah, the only day it wasn't raining was when I filmed the Mavic Air A-Pass video that came out yesterday. That was the first decent day, and it was getting really windy out there. So it is. I've not been able to fly it as much as I'd like. It happens.
Let's see. What does tomorrow look like? Oh, it's gonna be cloudy and 70 here, and then a week full of 80. So maybe we'll.
It's too hot. It's too hot.
Maybe we'll mess around with the drone tomorrow or go somewhere.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some drone flying tomorrow. What do we got? Okay, so I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about.
Dawson James says, I'm studying your accents for my acting auditions.
Acting?
Well, good luck with that, Dawson James.
For Cleveland? The Everyday Wife is from Cleveland, and so she says things like, ma'am.
Stop.
Ma'am.
Today I got made fun of for saying prom. Isn't that how you say it?
Prom?
Prom.
That sounds...
Like as in you're going to prom.
Normally I would make fun of the way you say things, like backs.
Box?
Ma'am.
Mom?
Yeah, she says it. She's saying it now she's saying it now for the camera.
Am I saying it right or wrong?
Well, now you're saying it right. Liam Bryant, Ted, I think it's the interaction with people from all over the world from a tiny device like a phone. Gags make it powerful. What do you guys think? No, I totally agree. Like one of the things that continues to impress me is just how far technology has gotten. Like I just spent $300, and I now have the ability with this little $300 to capture 4K video, to call people from around the world. I have access to the internet, which has all the information ever in humanity for $300. This has more computing power than the computer that I grew up playing or stuff like that. Like, I cannot believe. It's normal now. We all have smartphones and we all just like go about our daily business, but it seriously shocks me when you stop and think about just how incredible this is. Like, this is a broadcast studio too. I could download YouTube. I could do this whole live stream, which, you know, currently is set up with a encoder, with camera, with, well, 2 cameras, with computers and all that stuff. And you could do that for $300. The times we live in are crazy. Crazy. Tristan, do I like Canon or Lumix? I like Lumix. I've never had it. Have I ever had a Canon camera?
No,
I've never had a Canon camera. We have a Nikon DSLR I'm not a big fan of. I've used Sony cameras. I've used Lumix cameras. I've used cell phones. I like Sony cameras just because they've got you can get different style of lenses, and you can always buy adapters. But I really like Lumix cameras. I like Micro Four Thirds because it's small, it's easy to use. I like Lumix because its quality of life is big when it comes to cameras. I like not having to mess around with a lot of settings. I like it when the settings aren't buried in incomprehensible menu systems, Sony. And I just like the features that Lumix has. And Lumix, I don't know. I'm just a big fan of Panasonic. I started out with a Panasonic. I've upgraded to Panasonic twice. I've moved over to Sony. I've had 2 Sony cameras. I've had 2 Sony A6300s. I keep hearing the sirens call of the Sony, but I always find my way back to Lumix because it's just a great camera system. It's a great camera system. And something, like Lumix, and I don't work for Lumix. I'm not sponsored by Lumix. I don't really know anybody at Lumix. Something that I personally see in Lumix cameras is they put as much as they can into cameras no matter what the price range. So take the Lumix G7. Like a $500 camera can do 4K, can do 1080p 60 frames per second. It's got the swivel screen. It can do all sorts of amazing things, manual functions, for a $500 camera with a kit lens. If you were to look, you go find a $500 Canon camera that's not refurbished, that's not used, that's recent in the last 2 or 3 years that can do all that. You can't. It just seems like, and this is my personal opinion, it seems like the bigger DSLR companies are gating like the nice to haves for like a YouTube content creator behind their $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 cameras, and they're not putting that technology, or they're not spending the money to research to get that in their lower end cameras. So take this camera for example. The Canon 80D is a couple $100 less than this camera. However, it doesn't do, the only thing it has going for it is autofocus, and Canon does do way better autofocus from what I've seen. And that's, I mean, if autofocus is a big deal for you, then Canon has really good autofocus. It's weird that none of the 4 big camera companies have one camera that has it all together. So like Panasonic has 4K down to $500. Sony has amazing 4K and autofocus at like $1,100, $800 for the A6300. Canon's got really great autofocus in their mid-range DSLRs, but Sony doesn't have a flip screen. Panasonic doesn't have the great autofocus, and Canon doesn't have 4K. So it's like there's no camera company out there that has the killer camera right now. Maybe here shortly.
Okay.
Bill Utah.
Go ahead.
What do I think of the GoPro Hero 4 Black for $149? Sounds like that's a pretty good price. I would buy that for $149. I've actually been thinking about buying a GoPro Hero 4 Black just to do like a GoPro Hero 4, 5 years later. How does it stand to the GoPro Hero 6? So, I mean, it won't have any stabilization, but I think they do 4K 30 frames per second. I think it does. And all the stuff below that. I mean, so if you look at, there's some mountain bike YouTube channels that I like to watch, and they swear by the GoPro Hero 4 Blacks because you can't use the audio outside of a Hero 5 or Hero 6 is not nearly as good as the GoPro Hero 4s. So that's a really good price for it. William Kelly, camera bag or camera backpack? I like having I have a camera backpack I don't have it in here, but it can fit everything. I don't like big bags because if you have a big bag, you'll want to fill it up. So I have a pretty small one. It fits my drone. It fits my camera. It fits a lens. It fits some extra batteries. Fits drone controller, microphone, action cameras, all that stuff. It's really great. It's the Low Pro BP 140 maybe. I bought like the camo version just because I go filming in the woods a lot, and I just can like stash the bag somewhere without worrying about somebody coming across it and taking it. Barry Husing, hoping Samsung S8 works well with the Mavic Air. It should. I haven't heard if anybody, if you have the S8 and you've been flying drones with it, let Barry know. It should work really well with it. Oh, Carlos J. Mallon. No, I haven't told anybody that yet, but I did sell my Mavic Pro this week. It just. Oh. You knew that.
I didn't realize what it was, but okay, great.
I sold my Mavic Pro this week. I'm not with the Mavic Air. I have no use for the Mavic Pro right now until the new one comes out. Knight Thomas Gerardus, thanks for coming out. We really appreciate it. So yeah, I would never pull it out. So I sold it so that I can, do some upgrades to the channel. That's what if you're new, if you haven't been following the channel in a while, you may not know this about me, but I don't have emotional attachments to my gear. As soon as something, falls behind, it is left behind. So not going to use the Mavic Pro anymore, so I sold it. What else? I sold something else. Yeah, this used to be a big thing about the channel in its early days is...
Did you sell a camera and a drone? Or a drone and
no, I didn't sell a camera. I've only got this camera. I'm thinking about selling the Sony FDR X3000 because I just haven't been using it as much, even though it is probably the best action camera ever made. Yeah, Mark Reed is right. The only time I've ever... So I actually went to sell my Spark when I got the Mavic Pro Platinum. And then I just couldn't for reasons, which, I'm glad I didn't sell it. It's still around. It's a very good drone, and I really like it, but definitely sold the Mavic Pro. Hold on, I'm getting some computer problems here. I definitely sold the Mavic Pro. Hopefully the Mavic Pro 2 comes out with this 1-inch sensor that everybody's talking about, and it'll be great. Or hopefully it'll be great.
John Patrick asked a question. Do you think he just bought a Pro and a Spark? He wants to know if he makes videos, will they be outdated now?
No. Absolutely not. The Mavic Pro is not outdated. Like I said in my videos, the Mavic Air and the Mavic Pro, they do better. They are better at different things. Neither one is just 100% better across the board. The Spark's still a great drone. Don't get me wrong. It's still a fantastic drone. It's durable. I've wrecked mine a whole bunch. It's got great sensors. I mean, it's basically like having a flying cell phone camera, which is great. Cell phone cameras can take amazing photos these days, photos and videos these days. So no, I think you're still perfectly fine with a Spark and a Mavic Pro. The Mavic Air for me, so my gear philosophy is as easy as possible. So I'm not somebody that needs the best quality. I just need something that's good enough quality and is easy as possible to use. So, and like I said, I like being able to fit everything in my camera bag, and I look for capabilities. So the Spark was that capability for me. I took the Spark with me everywhere. But I'm doing everything in 4K now. The Spark can't do 4K, and I need something a little more than 30 frames per second, so I moved away from the Spark. Now I use the Air, which it fits in almost the exact same space with the case and the controller. So now it gives me 4K, 30 frames per second. It gives me slow motion from the Air. It gives me everything I want out of it. So no, you are not left behind if you still have a Spark and a Mavic Pro. You can't, or you're not. What do we got?
What do you know about this $2,500 drone?
The Skydio. That's something I wanted to talk about today. So a company called Skydio released the R1, which is like an active tracking obstacle avoidance beast of a drone. And it looks awesome. It really looks like a great drone. But for $2,500, you could set up a fully functioning YouTube studio with a Phantom 4 or a Mavic with a high quality camera, with a MacBook, you could have yourself set up for $2,500. I cannot justify that on a drone. As much as I'd love to, as much as I would love to spend that money on the drone, there's just more stuff that I could do with it. It looks cool. There's just some things like I'm always hesitant of it. I know it has a gimbal in it. I read their press release a whole bunch, and I've watched some videos about it. I know it has a gimbal, but I'm kind of spoiled with DJI gimbals now, so I'd be nervous about a gimbal. Because if you look at like the pictures, it doesn't look like a very big 3-axis gimbal. So however it's stabilizing its camera, it's not. It's probably taking the shake out. But if you've seen it, the thing goes like all the way around. Looks great. I don't know how great the footage would be though. But if Skydio, hey, if you're watching Skydio and you want to send me one to review, I would be totally on board with that.
Yeah, that would be an acceptable way to have that in our home.
I'd really like to check one out, but it's too
Otherwise,
much.
You're gonna need like another job.
Yeah, I'd need a third job because there's no way it would work.
AC Visanu says, I wish I could link 2 things to my Air, like goggles and a phone, like pair them. Can you do that, or only one at a time?
Well, the phone's always got to be on there. I think you can hook it up to the goggles, because Jonathan Maxwell and I were out flying drones at the meetup, and he has his goggles working with his Spark, and if you can get that to work, I assume there's a way to get it to work with the Mavic Air. I don't know, because it doesn't have the controller doesn't have that extra plug. I don't think it does the head moving thing, but you should be able to get the goggles to work with it. I can't imagine that you
might have to meet up with him and find out.
Maybe we'll have to do that. Have I charged the Osmo 2 yet? Of course I have. Right there with the actual functional charging port. Oh. The Osmo Mobile 1 uses a 3.5 millimeter power jack.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of that before? No, you haven't, because nothing else on Earth uses that.
It just
nothing else
like
on
a bad
Earth.
Idea.
We went to Ohio for a vacation. I brought the Osmo Mobile. Battery dies. Can't find the cable anywhere because I forgot it. Yeah, that's my fault. Went to every electronics store and was like, hey, do you guys have a 3.5 millimeter power cable? And they all looked at me like I was crazy. And then I couldn't use it at all again, period. Oh, crap. What time is it? Everybody's leaving, but I haven't seen how long. Oh, we're at 57 minutes. 57 minutes.
Tristan, it is 8:57 here in Georgia.
Okay, so we do this for an hour, so 3 minutes
Bill
left.
Ricks.
Good night, Bill. Thanks for coming out. If you have any final questions, let us know, and we'll get to them. I just started yakking away and forgot to pay attention to the time. That's what's so great about these live streams. I just love doing these live streams. What do we got? Next live stream, we will be next Saturday. What's up, Rich Lang? Journeyman, you're right. Time does bring all prices down. Yeah, Bill Ricks, $2,500 is... so as much as I'm trying to hey, Autel Evo, you guys need to aggressively price your drone if you want to beat DJI. Skydio's like, whatever, we're just going to... Remember how expensive the GoPro Karma was? That went great. And the thing is I want the Skydio to do well. I want there to be more competition in the market, because there's no competition in the market right now, and that doesn't do anybody any good. Yeah. So hopefully they'll be able to. I want them to succeed. I really, really want them to succeed. But Sean Ide, any live stream tips? Just start doing it. If you watch our early live streams, they're terrible, just like our early videos. They're terrible. You just slowly get used to it. You get used to, talking, and then you keep trying to do new stuff like edit a video live, which we'll see how well that works when we watch the actual playback here in about an hour. So since we're closing up here real quick, excuse me. Patrons, if you are a $20 patron or more, you get access to the Google Hangout, and I'll be posting the link for that Google Hangout here on the patron page in about 5 or 10 minutes. We actually have a little bit of battery life today, so we will actually do the Google Hangout today, if you're on it. If you are on it. Okay, let's see. Last questions. Live streaming tips. Use a cell phone at first. There's no need to spend all the money on this kind of setup if you're just starting out. I started out with the camera that the everyday wife has right now, a Logitech C920. It was like a $40 webcam, really easy to use. You don't have to use like all these fancy microphones and stuff. It's just everything is just do it and do it and do it, and you'll get better the more you do it. Fluffy dog. What about Fluffy? So, sorry, Fluffy dog. Dogs can't use computers.
Oh man,
I couldn't think of anything else to say.
But you're still a good dog.
Okay, we are at 1 hour. Thanks everybody for coming out. I'm gonna send it over to the everyday wife real quick.
Oh,
hold on, not yet, but I will.
Good. Okay.
Thanks everybody for coming out. Love doing these live streams. Check us out again next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll go from there. So over to you, everyday wife.
Thanks everybody for coming out, making me laugh. I've been reading your comments, even though I couldn't respond to all of them. But thanks for coming, and hope to see you next week.
Hooray! Well, again, everybody, thanks for watching, and we will catch you at the next live stream. Thanks for watching.